Hello and welcome to PME's Facebook Live event for August, and thank you for joining myself and the team for this Facebook Live event, whether it's now with us live or whether you're tuning in a little bit later afterwards. So who's in the crew today? Well, we're kind of dispersed everywhere. If I start with down here, actually, I think, because normally we start upstairs, we've got obviously myself, Paula McLeod, head of school. I'm going to be running you through some very amazing treats today that we're going to do. Peter's showing you that amazing cake, and Pauline is going to be assisting me in that, so she'll be kind of helping when it comes to some sieving. We've got Carmen, who's in assistance with Peter, and Peter, of course, who's doing that filming. Now, you know what to do, Peter, at this point? Got to give a little wave or something, a little wiggle. That's what he's doing. We've also got Jan downstairs as well, just over to the side there, just in case we need an extra pair of hands. At this point, Jan's saying, oh, what? Didn't realise that. Upstairs, we've got, who have we got? We've got Kieran and Samir as well. So they're feeding all of your information down here. And we'll have Pat down here as well. She'll be doing the stop-go boards for us too. So we can then kind of communicate with you. So don't forget, if you're watching, give us a thumbs up, send us your love, all of that type of thing. And give us a like if you're enjoying what you're seeing. And your questions and comments and your names. And we'll do some shout-outs as well as we go along, which is what we want to do. So, shall we get started with this amazing crackle cake and some little macaroons / macarons as well? And that's actually where we're going to be starting today, and Peter's just showing you those now, and we're actually going to begin by making those. And obviously it gets quite confusing when you're looking on the internet or wherever you are. You're like, how do I say this? Is it a macaron or is it a macaroon? Well, we're going to put French macaroon or French macaron. We're going to call it either or, and basically it's these little colourful, very yummy little treats. And we've decorated ours, and we've done some piping. We've done ours single, and we've done them doubled up as well. Put sprinkles on there. Basically, we've just had fun with them. And that's what it's all about. They taste fantastic, easy to make when you kind of follow the recipe. So I think you should have some fun with this one as well. So let's run through what we're going to be using. We've got 3 egg whites in here that we've got. Peter's just showing you those here. They're room temperature. We've also got some cream of tartar. We've got a heaped 1/4 teaspoon of that. I'm using about 1/8 of a teaspoon per egg white. That's just going to stable the egg whites when we're mixing those in. Got some just ordinary granulated sugar. We've got 50 grams of that, just in case you're interested. We've got 100 grams of ground almonds, or almond flour as we call that sometimes too. And good old icing sugar in there. We've got 280 grams of that. And we're going to actually start off by sieving this, and we're going to pop it in, or actually Pauline's going to, because I'm going to drag her up here, kicking and screaming as she does, to start sieving this through here. So if I leave you to start popping that through, Pauline's going to give it a good sieve, but any big lumps that are left in that sieve, she's just going to get rid of and pop into another little bowl. Now, sieve it at least twice. That way you get a really good smooth mixture. So Pauline's going to sieve as many times as she can while we start over this end with our egg whites. So I'm going to pop those in. I'm also going to just head this towards Pauline. Pauline's going to be clearing all of these things up as she goes as well. She's going to be multitasking very well. And I'm just going to switch this on to high. So it's going to get a bit noisy, but we'll just shout a little bit louder as we go. This won't take too long to get ready. And we're just going to mix it until it's nice and fluffy and nice and firm. So it won't take too long. And Peter can look in there if he needs to, every now and then. I've got a look in there. I'll tip it a little bit for you. There you go, Peter. Just make a bit of noise. There you go. Like I say, they need to be room temperature. And what I'm going to do, Pat's going to shout out, but she said she's going to wait. And I'll just explain to you that I'm going to add in, once that's got a bit firmer, Peter's going to keep showing you that, aren't you, Peter? Yes. I'm going to add in that cream of tartar. So there you go, look and see now, that's getting there already. So ready when you are, Pat. Pat's got some shout-outs for us already.
Okay, so we're off and away. And we begin with Rose Thomas, who says hi.
Hello, Rose.
And Sarah Safar says hi.
Hello.
Then Hong Kong and And Betty from Hong Kong says hi.
Oh, that's lovely. Hello, Hong Kong.
And Shanaz Suleiman says hello from Dubai.
Oh, wow.
Always wanted to learn macaroons. So
Oh, hopefully this will really do it for you then. So again, first important thing, make sure you've sieved it and make sure your eggs are room temperature. You don't want them cold. How are you getting on with your sieving there, Pauline? It's going, is it? Are you going as well? Okay, so let's just show you how our egg whites are doing at the moment. So they're getting there. They're kind of like nice and fluffy. Just going to give them another little go and add in my cream of tartar as they go round. So just going to pop that in. A little bit of noise there. Can I drop that into the big bowl? Oh, I'm just going to say, if I just show you that as well, look, that's what Pauline hasn't pushed through the sieve. So she's sieving well, doing well, Pauline, and this little bit as well. So they didn't go through. Yep. Okay. So how many times have you done now, Pauline? Twice. She's done twice. She's going for a third. The little ones that we were doing, I actually did them 4 times sieving, going through that. Okay, so I think that's now pretty good. That's kind of ready, I think. If I just do that, you can kind of see they're kind of peeking in there, so that's nice and stiff down there. So what I'm going to do is slowly pop some sugar into there as it's whisking round. So just gradually pop that in. Gradually. Mix is working well. So you don't want to chuck this in straight away because you don't want to flatten anything. So just very gradually, so I'm just pouring that in. I've got a piece, you can see that going in. And then I'm going to add in some colour. Now what we've done is we've done natural colours in our macaroons. And the colour I'm using is 100% natural pink today. So that will give us a nice colour. And I'll add in a little bit more so it's a little bit darker. Because once it gets to baking, it will probably lighten a little bit in the oven. So there we go, that's going round nicely in there. Last bit of sugar going in now. There we go. Another bowl for you, Pauline. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Pauline's done that 3 times now. No, you've got to do a lot more now, Pauline. Keep going. No, I'm joking. You could see Pauline's face then, she looked very worried. Pat's got a question, so while we're just getting ready to put the colour in, Peter might want to show you that. I'm just going to start doing that in while Pat asks the question. Go for it, Pat. Yeah.
Rose Thomas wants to know if she needs to weigh the egg whites.
Well, I haven't, so I take it that means no, you don't have to. I'm sure some recipes stipulate that you do have to. Ours doesn't, and I haven't weighed any of my egg whites. As always, I try and keep things very simple. We all do it PME because we don't get too much time. And every time I've done this, I've just cracked my eggs, got my egg whites and popped it in. I have used medium-sized eggs if that's any help. But obviously, as we know, and that's why you're asking the question, it can vary a little bit. But I haven't had any issues yet, so hopefully that will help. I'm going to add in a little bit more colouring to make it a bit darker. So I don't know if Peter wants to have a little look. That's quite pretty, I think. A bit more, I think. Give a nice colour. Oh, there we go, that's better. There we go. So that's looking pretty good in there. Oh yeah, that looks nice. So what we're going to do now is just get rid of that there for you. Sounds like the dinner gong, doesn't it? I'll leave that there again, Pauline, working well, just moving things around. Now the recipe that we're doing, if we say it kind of makes 24 of these little efforts here, that sort of sizing. Now it doesn't matter what size you do them, you can do them much bigger if you want to, but I seem to like doing them quite small and dinky, and they're a good bite size when it comes to it then. So I'm just going to pop my colouring over this way, and I'm just going to move over here, leave those bits there and you can see what we've got. So we are just going to fold in our sieved icing sugar and our ground almonds or almond flour, a little bit at a time, don't do too much. And I'm just going to tip that so as Peter and yourselves can see, and I'm just going to gradually fold that in as we go. So you don't want to over mix this. If you over mix this, you'll have problems, and if you under mix it, you'll also have problems. Okay, so if you under mix it, you'll probably find that they crack, and if you over mix it, you'll probably find that your ridges are missing on the bottom, or your little feet. So you might need to do this 2 or 3 times just to find your level of how much to mix with getting this just how you need it to be. So again, just folding that in, making sure everything's going in. There we go. Again, make sure you've got that in the bottom as well, that's out too. There we go. Like I say, this is the natural colour that we've used to mix through with this. And I'm going to put a bit more in now. So I'm going to put half of what's left in there. So we're getting there. There we go. So you're doing all right there, Peter? You got everything?
Good, thank you.
Oh, he's good. That's great. Hopefully everybody's looking forward to the crackle that we're going to be doing as well, which is coming up after we've piped our macaroons, or macarons. Oh, Peter's showing you a bit of crackle there, I think, in some different colours as well. Even before I mentioned anything about showing that. God, he's on the ball. Oh, sorry, Pat's waiting with a shout out over there. As always, I'm ignoring her. I'm doing my best.
Is this a good time?
It is a good time because I'm just going to keep mixing now, and then I'll let everybody know when I've mixed enough in a second.
Okay. So we begin with Dawn Underwood, who says good morning from Texas.
Oh, hello, Texas and Dawn, yes.
And Isabel Marquis says hi, and she sent you a lovely big red rose.
Oh, thank you.
She says, I love it when you're alive. Love from Johannesburg.
Oh, that's great. We love it when you're with us.
Alejandra Gaydon sends greetings from Uruguay. And Anat, hello, says hi from Israel.
Oh, wow, everybody coming in from all sorts of areas again and all sorts of locations and countries. We always are quite amazed because of the different time differences as well. And it is really kind of amazing to think that you're all tuning in and watching us, which is really good. So you can kind of see. So keep going till you've got like a drop-in consistency and it's all kind of nicely mixed in and hopefully looking good. It's looking quite smooth. So I'm going to go a little bit longer. That's looking nice now, I think. That's not looking bad at all. There we go. So there's no lumps in that. It's quite a smooth mix, and I think that's going to be okay for us now. So I'm going to take that over this way. And at this point, Pauline's going to magically remove the mixer, aren't you? Thanks, Pauline. She's going to unplug. And that's actually just the little sheet there as well. If you want to have a little look, that's a recipe sheet. So if you want to have a little go at this afterwards yourselves, then you can do. And hopefully you'll have some success with that as well. So now when I've piped these, I've got 2 different tubes that I could use. You can either use your Savoy tube, and this is a Gem 2R one, so that's quite a large one. Or if you've got something smaller, then you can use something smaller. So you've got a much smaller round tube there that you can be using. So I'm only doing quite small ones, so I am going to use my smaller tube. I'm just going to pop it in there and then just pour some mixture into my bag. There we go. Give it a little wiggle. Down it goes. Quite often I'll find it will drip out through the tube, but that's fine. Before I do that, because it will start coming through, what I've done, just to let you know as well on our baking sheet, I've done another template, which will please some people. Pauline likes a template. But in this occasion, it is actually really useful. And I've just used the round cutter just to give me my size. And then you can go bigger if you want to, entirely up to you, like I say. And there's some different sizes from quite small over here to larger, or large to small. So you can kind of see whichever size goes. I've just popped it, laminated that, or Debbie laminated it for me so that that can slide in underneath there. Now you can use a bit of masking tape to hold it in place while you're piping your mixture, or if you really wanted to, you could just pipe a little bit of your mixture onto there and then flatten that out so that it doesn't move around. So let's pour a little bit of it mixture into there. So Pauline's magically removed the mixer at the same time. I think Pat's got Another shout out there. So I'm only going to do a little bit of the mixture at the moment, so we haven't got too much in there. And while Pat does another shout out, I'm going to just do some piping in the circles there. And I'll come back and reload if I need to.
Okay.
Yep, so that's all good, Pat.
So Alaid Salami says hello from the UK. Hello. And then I've got very special shout out here from Steph and Steve in Wisbech.
Oh, hello.
And they say they're watching whilst we prepare for our holiday tomorrow. And for those of you that don't know, that is Paula's husband and daughter, and they're off on a cruise.
Yay!
And so Paula will be heading home fast this evening.
Yep, get packing.
And then Corinne says hello from French in Germany with a lovely big smiley face. And Veronica Marsh says hello. And then we're off to Perth in Western Australia to say a big hello to Vicky Clark.
Oh, wow. Hi, everybody. That's really, really good. So while Pat's been doing that, I've just been piping a couple of our little round circles and shapes here. So just kind of above the surface. So these little efforts are where they need to be. Just try and wipe off that little point at the top. So it's quite a runny mixture as you're doing it. And you can get, like I say, quite a few out of here. Now, if you want to go a bit bigger, just pipe and hold so that it just goes outside of that circle for yourself. There you go. And the last one, there we are. So I'm going to throw this over this way, and at which point poor old Paul is going to come running over and clear that way for me, if you could, please, thank you. Now, the most important thing at this point in time as well, once you've removed your template, of course, is to give the tray a good old bang on the side. So give it a good old bang, and that will bring up any little air bubbles that's in there and flatten that down as well. And I don't know if Peter can maybe see some of the air bubbles kind of popping just on the top surface there. It just flattens them out a little bit as well. So good old, so if you're having a bad day or you're a bit angry, just give it a good extra bang. And the thing I like about this tray is that it gives a really good sound to it as well. So the other important thing that you'll need to do is to leave this out before it goes into the oven, probably for at least half an hour, maybe up to an hour, depending on what the weather's like and what the day's like, but just so that they sit around before you then bake them in the oven. So that's all on that recipe sheet as well. So it's about a gas mark 1, and it's only for about 12 to 15 minutes. So I'm just going to place these over there in case Peter needs to have a little look at those a bit later on for himself. And this is what they would look like, hey presto, once they come out of the oven. Ta-da! And here they are. Something like that. There you go. So before we actually move on to decorate any of those, we're actually going to have a go at doing some crackle for you, so you can actually see how easy it is to do the crackle. Now I know Pat's standing there, bless her, with the board, holding it up, and she's got another shout out. So I'm just going to start kneading some paste and getting it ready while Pat does the next shout out, and then I'll bring you back in and tell you what I'm up to.
Okay. So first of all, we're off to Canada, to Toronto, and Bukon Edgitha says that she's watching from Toronto. Marvelin Isidore says good morning from St Lucia. That sounds nice, doesn't it?
Doesn't
yes.
it? Sounds very exotic. Hello.
And Dikshna Dujan says wow. And Joan Limsey says hi, Paula.
Hello.
And Audrey Gallant says hi, watching from Cape Town.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you're kind of tuned in, which you all are, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, send us your love, give us a like, share if you want to, any of those things. It's always good. So if you like what you see and you kind of want to share it around to your friends, feel free to do so. So I've just kneaded up some sugar paste, so we're ready to do our crackle. So I'm just going to roll it out a little bit using some icing sugar. I've also plugged my iron on, so that's heating up over there. That's my Tefal Ultralight Diffusion 60. So it's going there. Well, it's ironing, isn't it? I don't do much ironing, so. Although Peter made a comment about ironing, didn't Peter? And I am going to mention it. He didn't like the way his sister did his ironing, so this is where his sister might have something to say to him, but he said he chose to do his own ironing, which is fair enough comment. So I've rolled it out quite thick so you can kind of see. We don't want this too thin because we're going to carry on rolling it. There we go. I'm going to grab myself some parchment, which I've already got rolled out over here. Pauline's gearing up, she's getting ready. Steady, Pauline, not just yet, no. She's very keen, very keen. Okay, so I popped it on parchment just so it's easy to move into the box that Pauline's actually going to be lifting up in a second. So you don't have to put it on parchment, I just find it's easier for moving it around. And also the other thing is that because I'm using the box, so that the spray that I'm using, which is the glaze and the luster, is out of the way and safe as well. And I've put the parchment over the paste because then I'm going to use my iron to iron it. Now generally when people do this crackle, we've always seen that they tend to use a little gun that you'd use for your creme brulee, you know, heating it up, etc. But I don't know about you folks, but I haven't got one of those and we haven't got one here. So we decided the iron had to come into play. And I know it looks like I could have probably done with using it today, and I'm sorry that I didn't. I've already said, not good at ironing at all. So I put the parchment over my paste because the iron will actually have the same effect that the little blowtorch would do on your creme brulee on the sugar paste. So I'm going to just pop it on here and start ironing until you can hear it crackling, and then just move yourself along, give it a little wiggle. Don't have any steam on this, don't forget you're not actually ironing anything in particular, you're just heating up your sugar paste a little bit. So if I just lift that away, you'll be able to have a little look at how it's looking underneath. Now the areas that haven't got heated up are dull still, and they're not going to work. So we're going to go back over them and just heat it all up a little bit more. Sometimes it might go a little bit soggy, but don't worry about that because it's on parchment, so that'll come away and that'll give you a really good crackle if that happens. So there we go, and this is where Pauline can then get all ready to go with the box, because I know she's super keen to do that. And if we have any areas that don't crackle, that'll be fine because you'll be able to see the difference that it's made. There we go. So I'm going to lift that back so you can have a quick look. You can kind of see that there. Yep, go Pauline, go, go, go. So she's going to lift that up there. I'm going to drop this in. I'm going to turn it round a little bit so Peter can see. I'm going to bring in some glaze first of all, give it a good shake, and I'm just going to spray that over here. There we go. There goes my glaze. Yip-a-doo. Over it goes. And then I'm going to bring in my rose gold luster, give it a shake. I'm going to spray that directly over the top while it's all still wet. There we go. Sorry Peter, I know what you're thinking. I'm going to say. Hey, there we go. So then we're ready to just give that a couple of minutes just to kind of cool down. Once it's touch dry, we should then be able to roll over that with our rolling pin and get that lovely crackle effect. Pat's got another shout out. I'll just quickly mention the fact that obviously you've seen me, I've been using a spray, my own version of a spray booth, and I would always say that if you're using the glaze or you're using the luster, always be careful. Number one, before you start to use it on your cakes, give it a little test run first of all, especially if you haven't used it before. Create yourself a little spray booth so that you're protecting your work surfaces, etc., just so that it's kind of keeping it clean. Now what I find is also handy is a bit of glaze cleaner, because this is where I've actually got some glaze and some luster on here. If I just spray a bit onto there, I can then very easily just wipe that off. So I always have some of that handy as well for myself, just in case. But primarily make sure that you've got somewhere to kind of have a collection of the spray going on there. So sorry Pat, ready? Here she comes.
I think it was really important information, Paula. So
yeah, I didn't want to not get it across or forget. Yeah.
Okay. So Letty Apple says hello from Atlanta in Georgia.
Hello.
And Michelle Sweet says hello. And Karen Permits says she's watching from South Africa.
Oh wow, lots of people from South Africa today.
And Sylvia Beta says hi, and she gives you a lovely wave.
Hello.
And Amira says hello from Tunisia.
Oh, lovely.
Okay.
Hello. Well, I hope you like what you're seeing and that it's interesting and that you'll be able to have a little go. Now, I think it's not dry just yet, so I'm just going to have a little test. It's not too bad, actually. It's still a little bit damp, so I'm going to give it a couple of longer minutes. And it's lovely and warm underneath as well, so just keep giving it a little tap. Give it 5, maybe 10 minutes, and you'll know when it is actually ready to kind of then roll out. So we'll go through that in a second. What I was also going to mention is that just across the front there, and I think Peter's been showing them to you, is that we've got some different colours that we've used. We've done all of this on a white background with different colours, but of course you can start to use a different colour. So grey with the silver over the top, for example, kind of looks very elephanty, but I think Peter himself actually suggested yellow with black, so bumblebee, I think he was getting at, or something along those lines perhaps, I don't know. We've got another shout out as well, so while we're doing that I'm just going to test and see how dry this is going, and I think if it's nearly ready, which nearly, just a couple of ticks longer, yeah, still ready,
Okay.
yep, still good.
Where are we? Emmeline Domingo says hi. Nick Lawrence says hi from Australia. Deborah Lee Horn says hello from South Africa. Thank you for sharing and have a wonderful trip.
Oh, thank you.
And our dear friends from Hong Kong, Joseph and Peggy,
Yay.
say hello from Hong Kong.
Hello.
And Stevka says hello from Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
Oh, that sounds really nice too. Yeah, it just wouldn't be the same if everybody didn't tune in and we couldn't do the shout outs. Just would not be the same. So I've also, just while we're waiting, I've popped a little bit of buttercream on the top of my cake. Just going to cover it over again now, Peter, sorry. Just place it back over there, so that's all ready to go. So I think we must be where we need to be now. I think we're pretty much there. Don't want to leave it much longer, but I think we're good to go. It's going to work, I'm sure. So just going to roll towards yourselves and Peter one way and then come back the other way. So you can start to see that crackling. Probably could have done with maybe a couple of minutes longer, but I don't want to leave it too long because we want to be able to move on. But there you can see, so that's the crackle beginning there. And then all we need to do is to get kind of smaller crackles, is to then turn it the other way round. So there we go. A bit more icing sugar underneath. And then I'm going to roll again towards yourselves and Peter. And you'll see it crackle across the other way. There we go. There go the smaller crackles. There you go. Doesn't that look so much fun? It's great, isn't it? I love this. It's so good. There we go. So that's good. I'll let Peter just home in on that for a little bit longer. Now, you can see the bits that maybe didn't get heated up that I was talking about earlier. So that's kind of gone smooth. And on the big cake as well, if there's any areas that haven't gone, you know, kind of crackled, that's just where it wasn't heated up enough. And that's where just watch out and see if it's shiny or not, and then go back over it with your iron. And I think it's a lot more exciting to be ironing your sugar paste than it is to be ironing some clothes, to be honest. So that's my thoughts on it anyway. So what I'm going to do is just use a circle cutter and just finish off our cake. Now you can normally do this any way you want to. The ones that I did over there, we did top first and then the sides. So I've just got the sides on and gone with the smaller option of the top, so that if we need to show it again later, then we're able to do so. So I'm just going to use my circle cutter just to give myself a little bit of an option to have less paste on there. Now the leftover little bits are really useful as well. What I've actually done is cut out some extra shapes and designs using some little plastic cutters there, so you can kind of just give yourself some extra little cutouts. So whether that's hearts or flowers, etc. That'll all work really, really well. So there we go, it's an extra one. So I'm just going to place that onto the top. And it's up to you. If you really want to turn it upside down and trim round it, then you can do. But I'm just going to leave this on the top so that you can all kind of see much easier. And I think it's probably going to be much easier for Peter, to be honest, this way round, and then just trim around. Now I tend to do it the other way because I find it easier to go through the crackle when it's actually the other way round and you're doing the top first and then the sides. But we're kind of like doing this so you can kind of see easier for yourselves, and like I say, for Peter as well. And then if you want to, those little bits that are left over, you also get a really nice flecky design with those as well, so you don't get any waste with this crackle. I don't think so anyway. You okay there, Peter? Are you grabbing everything you need to? That's all good. So I coated this in a strip as well, which was nice to do and easy, and because of where the join is as well, with the design of the crackle, it actually makes it quite easy to kind of disguise, to be honest, as well. So we're just going to go round, and there we go. So that just shows you your crackle top on your cake. Just spin round if you need to, just to kind of Oh, I can hear creaking. That means Pat's ready. There we go. She's got a question for us. So while that's happening, at least you can kind of see our crackle on the top. There we go.
Okay, the question's from Letty, who
Right.
we did a shout out to earlier.
Oh, hello again.
And she's basically not sure what kind of sprays you've used. So she
Right,
said,
let me
what
go
type
through.
of spray
Right.
have you used?
Okay, so the first spray that I used was the clear glaze spray. So that's nice and easy. You don't have to worry about trying to brush it on, doing it in time. Just literally spray right over the top so you can see that. Nice and easy to use. And I can show you that one on a little bit of paste that we've already got rolled out so you can kind of see that properly. Just going to move that over there. And at this point in time, actually, it's also a really handy thing to maybe mention too, that an ideal way, if you've kind of got a cake and you've got it and you're going to spray all over it, you're going to lustre all of it, it's really useful to know that if you actually put the glaze on first, then the lustre over the top, it won't all come off on your hands, so you don't then have to try and glaze over the top of it, it will stick. So this is the glaze going on for you, so you can kind of see. That gives you a nice kind of even spray. And then we put our lustre spray over the top. This one was the rose gold that we used, but there's obviously lots of those that you can use of ours. Huge amount in the range. Can't remember how many off the top of my head. This is actually the newest one, so rose gold's everywhere at the moment, so we thought that would be the most interesting one to use. And then just spray over the top. So that gives you your nice spray over the top. We'll give that a couple of minutes and then we'll touch it, and that will give us our really nice even distribution of our glaze as well. So those are the two sprays that we were using, and I'm just going to pop it down there for a minute. That should be okay there for a little bit, Pauline, and I'll just leave that to do what it needs to do. So hopefully that's clarified what we used and in which order that we used it. But don't forget, obviously I used the iron first of all to heat it up with parchment. Obviously don't try and iron your sugar paste without parchment. It's crucial. You have to have that parchment on there. So now we're going to head off down this end and we're going to look at decorating some of our little macaroons in a variety of different ways. So obviously you can leave them totally plain, or you can use your lustre just to spray over the top so you get a nice lovely even finish there with that. Or you can actually use, if you remember the last Facebook Live we did the twist, not the twist, the twist tube on there. And I have to admit, it's such an easy tube to use, and it was so much fun that I thought I'd just incorporate it on these little bite-sized macaroons, or macarons, remember you can call them whichever, because the sizing is absolutely perfect, if you can kind of see on there, and so quick and so easy to do. So in under 10 seconds you're kind of there, done and dusted. So I'm just going to use a bit of piping gel, and I'm just going to glaze over the top of a macaroon or macaron, whichever one you want to call it. And I'm glazing over the top because, number one, it'll help me attach my little sprinkles into the middle, but hopefully it should also mean to say that my buttercream will attach very easily onto the top of my macaroon slash macaron. And while I'm piping on there, Pat's got a shout out, so I'm going to use my twist tube like I did last time to just pipe into the centre there so it looks like this one, and then I'm going to put some sprinkles in the middle. And I'm just going to make sure that it's all coming out as it needs to, which it is. So I'm just going to have a practice over there. That's why I've put my piping gel on here, you see, because I know that's going to happen. So that's fine while Pat's doing her shout out, and then I can carry on.
Okay, there's lots of people, Paula, loving what you're doing.
That's good.
So we'll do our best. So Joseph Cruz says hello from the Philippines.
Hello. Oh, Philippines. Philippines today. Yeah,
yes.
have we? That's really good.
And Effie says hi from Belgium.
Oh, lovely.
And I'm going to struggle with his name from Puerto Rico, so I do apologise. And my phone just jumped up then, which makes it even more complicated. And that's from Vaquez. She says hello from Puerto Rico. Rosa says hi, Paula.
Hello.
June Jacobson says hello, watching from Denmark, and she gives you a big thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Chris Humberg Atkinson says hi from Manchester.
Oh, that's back to the UK with a bump, isn't it?
It is kind of. And Shirley Kwan says hello from Hong Kong.
Yeah, and again, another approved teacher, so hello, thank you for watching again.
And Marissa Santos says hello from Angola.
Oh, lovely.
Wow. I don't know if you want to explain what you're doing, and I'll come back in a moment.
Lovely. So what I've done is, I like I said I was going to do, I've put some piping gel over the top, because when I kind of had a little practice there, because it was a bit dry, it just comes away. So your macaroons dry when you go to pipe onto there as well. And just in case sometimes our buttercream isn't the best consistency, a little bit of piping gel on there just means to say that that will stick to the macaron, and also you can then put your sprinkles in there nice and easily. So I've done one without the twist and one with a little twist, because that's what it is. It's a twist tube, and it just fits the top there really, really nicely. So whether you want to have it as a single or whether you want to have it as a little double, they just work great. I think for weddings or little favours, that type of thing, absolutely awesome. It's perfect. Really, really good. So I'm just going to pop that up there. We've also got some other examples. So sprinkles on there also looks good, just coated along there. And we've also got one just here as well. Just using any flower tube works really, really well. I think Pat's got another shout out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start using a little flower tube. I might go green, or shall I go pink? I'll go pink because it's on blue. And I'll just start that going, and I might sit down to do this, and then once I've done that, Pat can do the shout outs then, can't you, as well? So I'm just going to check that everything's flowing as it needs to be, which it isn't, because I actually had this left yesterday. So there we go. So I'm just going to pipe around the outside edge, so you can either hold it, so, oh, I know, I can see Peter can't see properly. So I'm just going to kind of make a little heart shape, and these are just kind of fantasy flowers. So there you go, just turning as you go. And I'm going to carry on doing that all the way around the outside edge and all the way into the middle.
And I'll do shout-outs.
Okie dokie. And I'll sit here and I shall play.
Okay.
Basically, have fun.
Play.
That's what I'm doing, Pat, sorry.
I think we're still in the UK because we're in South Wales. And Nikki Louise says hi. Aida Elisa says hi. Maru Mendoza says hi from Montreal. And sorry, I've lost it here. Manira Ali says hi from Karachi in Pakistan. Husana Magdon says hi from Sri Lanka. A name you'll know here, Sharon Aesop.
Hello, Sharon.
And she says Jem says hi from all of us in Jem, South Africa.
Thank you for watching, and hello back to Jem. Gems are one of our hubs in South Africa we own, so hello and thank you.
And then we're back to the UK. Julie Haig says hi from South Yorkshire, and she sends you a kiss. Shana Mumbai says hello from Zimbabwe. Valerie says hello from Muscat. Paula, nice to see you.
Hello.
And Nikki Louise, I think I've got this one twice. Nikki Louise says hi from North Wales.
Oh wow, that's brilliant. So there's lots of people from everywhere. Thank you for watching. So this is just giving you another bit of an idea for what you can put on the door. Oh, whoops. Suddenly the cup and Peter's right there. I'm trying, because I know you kind of need to get in, and I kind of know that I kind of want to be comfy as well. When you're piping, you've always got to be comfy. So I deliberately didn't try and put it on a nail or anything, because I thought the chances are it's going to drop off. So I'm just going round and round, building up the layers, just to give us some sort of a frilly effect with our flower. So as long as you're all right there, Peter, that's the main thing. Oh, that's good. That's good. So it's just a bit of a heart shape that I'm wiggling as I go along. It's not any specific flower, as you can all tell, but it just makes a pretty little design as you're kind of coming through to the centre. And as we get through to the centre, I'm just going to pop a lovely big pearl into the middle there. So I've got some 6mm pearls. So they're quite large ones. Just hold up a little bit there so I can kind of see again. And we're just going to drop that into the centre as we finish that. So you can use any petal tube that you want to. That should give you the result that you need. I think that's enough to just be able to pop that into there. There we go. Could have done another little petal just in there actually, couldn't I? Just to make it look finished, because you've got a bit of blue. So I'm just going to squeeze an extra petal in there. Well, there we go. That's better, isn't it? So there we go. So that's given us that option as far as that's going. So what I think I'll do is, for those of you that are maybe just joining us, I'm going to show you that crackle again, because we've now done our macaroons / macarons, and I know we did the crackle, which is kind of obviously what everybody is, well, one of the things everybody wants to see and hear about. So we're actually going to do that again. And I'm just going to see how my little bit of stuff is doing down here. So I'm just going to bring this in before we do that. If you remember, we did some spray because we had that lady, can't remember her name, I'm afraid, now it's gone. And I was just explaining that I'd used the glaze and then our luster first of all, keep it in the box, etc. But also I mentioned that if you're kind of doing a lot of spraying and you're going to be lustering your cake, if you put your glaze on first and then your luster, you'll find this, nothing comes off. There you go. Glaze first and then your luster. So instead of trying to put the glaze on over the top or touching everything and you're covered in luster, do it that way round and it will just stick. So we're going to go through, while I start doing this, Pat's going to do another shout out, aren't you, as well? And I'm just going to get my paste. I'm going to knead it first of all, and then we're going to get ready for doing some more crackle.
Okay, Paul, so while you're doing that, first of all, a young gentleman that we all know exceedingly well, Silvio Castellano.
Oh, hello, Silvio.
He says the best company ever and sends a lovely big red heart.
Oh, lovely. We send it back.
Silvio is actually our agent in Italy.
Oh, lovely.
And then we're back to the UK, and Emma Searle says hello from Guildford in Surrey.
Oh, hello, nearer to home here.
And Aida says hello from Puerto Rico, and she sends you a lovely big smiley face, lots of lovely hearts.
Oh, that's lovely. We send them all back.
And then Karen Vasquez says hello from Peru.
Ooh, very nice.
Lynn Waite says morning.
Oh, is it morning there? Is it? Oh.
From Vermont in the USA.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I know Vermont really well. I wish I was there with you. It's gorgeous.
Oh.
Pradeep says hello, watching from Sri Lanka, and says thank you, which is kind of nice.
It is, yeah.
And Georgia Christos says hi from Cyprus.
Oh,
and
lovely.
2 very big heart smiley faces. Am I okay to keep going?
Yeah, you're fine, Pat. I'm just kind of rounding off my shape now. You're
Because
fine.
I can stop and come back after you've ironed, if that will
No,
help.
you're fine. I've got a few moments. I can hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all good.
Carol Kupitis says, thank you, ladies. Lovely demo. And Vindra Kassim says hello from Canada. Patricia Shanahan says hello from New York and sends a lovely big heart.
Oh, it's really nice.
Olga says hello from Greece, big smiley face. Say, I'll come back.
Okay, Pat's going to come back, so if you've got a shout out waiting, chances are you're going to be in the next batch. So I've just rolled out my paste quite thick. That shows that when I roll it a bit thinner, I'm going to be able to get a nice crackle. If you roll it too thin to start with, you haven't got any depth of paste to carry on rolling with. So we're going to pop that over there. I've popped it on parchment because that's easier for us to lift into our little box in a minute. Parchment over the top, that is really important. Obviously, you can't iron your paste with your iron. So for those of you who are wondering why the iron, it's because we didn't have a little food torch. We didn't have one of those creme brulee torches. So it made sense to see what we could come up with and improvise. And I think most people have actually got an iron at home, whether they use it or not, and you're like me, at least you can then use it for doing your crackle on your cake. So all nice and hygienic and safe because we've got that parchment over the top. So I'm going to heat it up. It'll sizzle a little bit, and that's good. That's what you want to hear. If we've missed any bits, it just won't crackle when it comes to it. So we'll do that bit first. Peter might even be able to get you to hear that, possibly. So obviously be careful as you're going along. And we'll lift it over in a minute and you'll be able to see the bits that we've got ironed and the bits we haven't got ironed. So if I lift it up, you can have a quick look. So you're starting to see if Peter can catch that just right. There's areas that are kind of shiny and there's areas that aren't. And it's the areas that aren't that need to go shiny and need to heat up. So that's what we're going to do. So again, it kind of starts to sizzle a little bit as it starts to heat up, but you have to make sure that you're using your parchment paper on here, obviously. And then what we're going to do is, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our glaze over the top, And then we're going to give the luster a really good shake, and we're going to spray the luster over the top. And at the minute I'm using rose gold, but you can use whatever luster colour that you've got. So that should be okay now. So, yep, that's great. And Pauline's armed and ready with the box. Nice one, Pauline. So she's just lifting that up. If you're lost without you, wouldn't you? There we go. Thank you. So I'm just going to bring that round. Got my glaze, make sure I've got the right one. Give it a little shake. No ball bearing in that one. And then just spray over the top. Nice amount glaze over that. There we go. And a little shake with our rose gold. And again, straight over the top with that on top of the glaze. You don't need to leave it to dry. That should be good. There you go. And then we're going to give that a couple of minutes just to cool down a little bit. Once it's touch dry, that should then be okay for us to be able to carry on rolling out so that we get that lovely crackle on the go. So I'm just going to pop it down there for a second. And while we're getting ready to do that, I'm just going to pop a little bit of a coating onto my cake. A bit of buttercream on there so we can coat the top there. And then Peter, if you haven't seen it already earlier, Peter can show you again the little colours that's on there as well. And I'll also show you what we did again, I think probably with the glaze and the luster as well. Because I think one of the things that we find ourselves, definitely in the teaching team, and I'm sure many of you do as well, is that if you've got a cake and you're kind of in the process, you need luster all over it, and there's a lot of it, and then you go to move it or touch it and all of the luster comes off. And an easy way of making sure that the luster doesn't come off is to put the glaze on first. So we'll do that as well. So while we're just giving that a couple of minutes and waiting for that, Pat's got a question. So we're going to home over to Pat now for our question.
I've got a question and I've got a huge number of shout outs.
Oh, wow.
Whether we will get through them all or not, I don't know. And
okay.
I don't know how much time you got. So we'll do the question first.
Okie dokie.
Okay. And this is from Rena. And she says, hi, which buttercream recipe did you use? And she's from the Netherlands.
Oh, right. Just the usual. We always do white fat and icing sugar, some milk in there as well, pop in a little bit of flavouring if you want to. And we find that colours up really well too. And it's up to you what flavouring you put into there. But always the white fat, white vegetable fat. Obviously, don't try and use... Lard, that's the one I was thinking of, because that isn't good. That's not what you want to do. So there's various ones of those, but find one that works nice, that's nice and soft when it comes to beating it up. Yeah.
Okay. Can I go into all the shout outs?
Oh yeah, go for it, Pat. I'm just testing.
Okay. You test, and I'll follow Peter in the hopes of. Okay. So Anna Marie says hello and Ecuador present and with you.
That's lovely. Thank you for being present with us.
Laurie Ann No says hi from Texas.
Hello.
Rena Govenda says hi, Paula from sunny South Africa.
Lovely. Hello.
Thanks for sharing.
Pleasure. Enjoying myself.
Charmaine also says hi from South Africa. And Carol Kupetis says hello, ladies.
Hello.
Rose Thomas, wonderful demo, really enjoying it from Dubai. And I think Rose has been with us from the beginning.
Yeah, that's really good, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Lucia Tamez says hello from Mexico. Ruth Mullins says hi from Ohio in the USA.
That's brilliant.
Are you all right there?
Yeah. No, we're still good. Yeah, we're still okay. We're still warm. So.
Christina says hello from Slovakia. Alma Gonzalez says hi from Texas. Anna Holstein says hi from Portugal. Janice Morcourt says hi from Northern Ireland.
Hello.
Audrey Gallant says those macaroons look so cute. Thanks for sharing. And she's in South Africa. And Anne Romero Cruz says hello from the Philippines.
Oh, wow. Thank you. And Pat did really well there, I think, with those names, didn't you? Did well. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're really pleased that you're enjoying the demonstrations as well. And don't forget, if you're liking what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up, send us your love, and maybe share and like with all of your friends, etc. Because it's good to know that it is being well liked, because then obviously we can do some more of the same, hopefully, for you as well. So I've got my paste here now. It's kind of nice touch dry, etc. So we're where we need to be, and we're just going to roll over the top, and hopefully that will crackle. We're going to go towards Peter. Don't want to leave it any longer now. There we go. So you can see why it needs to be nice and thick, because you can see that kind of cracking as we roll it thinner. So you can kind of see we've gone across, and that's given us our lines that way. And then if we turn it around the opposite way, and we're going to roll over that again, we're going to go towards Peter and yourselves, and then that will give us that nice crack going across. And that gives us those smaller little sections. There we go. So just rolling out. So you just roll out to what would be your normal depth of paste that you'd be happy with. And again, you can maybe see if there were any areas I hadn't heated up sufficiently. You can probably see that maybe they're not cracked quite as much. So that area there has started to go, but that just gives you a bit of an idea then as to where you need to be. And you can carry on rolling thinner if you want to. The thinner you go, the more spaced out it will be. So it's very much up to you, you know, how big or spaced you want those cracks to actually be. So that's entirely up to you. But this is fantastic for all sorts of different effects. And with the lustres, you can get loads of different colours going on as well. Maybe even that bumblebee that Peter was talking about earlier, perhaps. I'm going to have to do that now, I think. He's smiling, he thinks that's funny. You won't think it's funny when he's having a go. So I'm just going to use my circle cutter like I did before, just to give that a little cut round to make life a bit easier. And again, I just kind of mentioned that any of your leftovers you can cut out little heart shapes with, etc. Just saves wasting it really, doesn't it? And I'm just going to place that on the top. Like I say, you could turn it upside down if you wanted to, but I just thought it might be easier to do it this way and a bit hard, not so hard on Peter really, to be honest, poor thing. He is laughing. But no, it's a bit tricky sometimes, isn't it? And I think you see more this way round. So I'm going to trim this round. And then I think Pat's got more shout-outs as well. So there's still lots of you out there watching, hopefully still enjoying what you're seeing too, which would be good if you are.
Well, I think from the shout-outs, there must be more.
Yeah, definitely.
So
lots of people doing crackled cakes and macaroons / macarons.
So Helga Halworth says great cakes.
Good.
Hortensia says hola.
Hola.
And hola. And Nala Malik says hello from Doha in
lovely.
Qatar.
Yes, no, that one.
Yoletta Bradley says hi from Idaho in the USA.
Wow.
Brittany Billings says hi from Tennessee. So
Hello.
the US is definitely
Thank you for
tuning in.
Yeah, that's really good.
And then Shabina says hello from Dubai. And Basias says hi from Gdansk in Poland.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed some of what we've been up to today, and you'll be able to kind of put it to the test yourselves in the kitchen. And like I say, we've done the recipe sheet for the macarons / macaroons. Remember, it doesn't really matter how you say that yourself. You can kind of pick and choose. Just put French in front of it and you get one of these lovely little things that are ready to go. In actual fact, we'll be fine to pop our little macaroons that we did earlier probably into the oven, so we'll do that and we'll see what we've got. Before we kind of move on and just finish off with our cake, I'm just going to tap it so you can see that there's no tackiness on that macaroon now. And when you're ready with yours, that's what you need to make sure, is that they're not still wet before they go into the oven as well. So we've got some decorated, ready to pop on there. Which one shall we pop on, Peter?
I like your nice frilly one.
Oh, he likes the nice frilly one. So in that case, let's pop a nice frilly one onto the cake. This is where I'll pop it onto the cake and you'll see it all fall down. Shall I cheat and just put it in the front so it's not going to disappear where it shouldn't do? How does that look there? Unless you can see somewhere else it should be going
Wonderful.
to. Ah, superb. Correct answer, Peter. Very well done. I might let you eat one of the macaroons in a minute then, / macarons. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done here, to be honest. So, from everybody here and the whole team at PME that's made this possible, bye for now. Happy holidays. See you soon. Bye-bye.